Hello, my name is Philip Totaro. I'm the founder and CEO of market research firm IntelStor. Welcome to your weekly dose of truth to power. Truth to Power examines data driven insights for the energy sector with a focus on renewables. On this week's episode, we'll examine the trend in rising O&M costs for wind energy in Australia and how that compares to other countries around the world. Back in May, I covered the outcome of the Australian elections and the new opportunities for the renewable energy industry that are being unlocked. While some robust opportunities certainly remain, there's a growing concern in the market over increasing capex costs as well as O&M expenditures and access to wind energy parts needed to undertake repairs. In order to understand these trends, some context is necessary. Onshore wind costs rose by about 8% between July 2023 and the middle of 2024, and then another 6% between July 2024 and 2025 so far. Let's get into some of the reasons why. First, wind farms require large upfront investments and they face lengthy construction periods. So any increase in interest rates during that time frame from when they get approved to when they get financed and when they actually get constructed can actually make the projects unviable. And as we all know, interest rates have been high for some time everywhere in the world. Also, Australia faces a shortage of workers with the skills necessary to build and maintain wind farms. That results in higher wages and recruitment costs. Those costs end up getting baked into the prices paid by asset owners for services. These higher prices will necessarily cause budgets to run out before all the repairs that are critical to make can actually be made. This will either adversely impact asset performance if you can't make all the repairs, or it's going to impact profitability because you're spending more than what you have in your budget. Additionally, Australia's best wind resources are typically far from cities and existing grid infrastructure. Those kind of remote sites means extra costs such as temporary worker accommodations during construction as well as O&M. Additionally, technical issues, which we sometimes refer to as teething issues, have emerged for some new wind turbine models. That creates unexpected costs for owners and operators for repairs very early on that weren't anticipated. Now, all of these factors kind of come together and can be seen in the spike in asset payback timeframes that occurred recently for commissioned projects in the past few years, including 2024. But asset profitability is heavily tied to PPA prices, and wild fluctuations in the market have been seen. Australia saw a drop in the average power purchase price for onshore wind energy in 2024 compared to the spike in 2022, but it's actually up last year versus 2023. The average price across all wind power projects in 2024 was $78.84 Australian. That's $52.59 US per megawatt hour, according to the data from the Australian Energy Market Operator, which was analyzed by IntelStor. We also took a look at the production adjusted maintenance cost over time for wind energy assets in Australia. While overall maintenance costs are rising, with the new national average at $9.22 per megawatt hours Australian, that's about $6, just over $6 US, some wind turbine OEMs offer better value for money over a long term project duration. For the total installed capacity, the results indicate that the 8 main OEMs in the Australian market show a distinct trend over time. Siemens Gamesa shows the lowest overall maintenance cost and the lowest degradation over time. So as the assets age, cost to maintain per megawatt hour produced doesn't spike as much as it does for other OEMs. GE Vernova is second at $8.38 a megawatt hour Australian. It's about $5.47 US. But they've demonstrated some teething issues with newer models introduced in the market, and this has led to some maintenance cost spikes for very young projects. Now, Vestas shows a typical progression over time of age-related performance degradation. They start off at about $6.50 per megawatt hour Australian, it's about $4 US, but their costs almost immediately escalate after the first 5 years in commercial operation. Nordex and Goldwind are closer to the market average both when they start and they show generally flat costs over time. So it's similar to Siemens Gamesa, but certainly at a higher price point for maintenance versus megawatt hours produced. Now, there's another trend to notice in this data, which is how quickly these costs escalate. A brand new project will see O&M costs double in just over 10 years in Australia. In markets such as the USA, the maintenance cost per megawatt hour produced doubles after 20 years in operation. That cost increase is happening much more quickly in Australia due to several factors. First, asset owners who have become dependent on OEM service contracts are seeing some signs of underperformance due to lack of some maintenance being performed as a result of budget exhaustion. Asset owners who have chosen to get out from under OEM maintenance contracts and self perform or partner with an ISP generally see somewhat better technical and commercial performance, but most owners lack scale or technical competence in house to complete anything more than just basic maintenance tasks. This can be addressed with training and better access to skilled workers, but that's something that needs to be addressed wholesale from the government allowing people to come into Australia that have that experience and companies engaging either ISPs or other independent companies that can provide them with training or provide them with that expertise. Additionally, access to spare parts has become more expensive, as service providers and even OEMs must source components from overseas due to a lack of domestic production capacity in Australia. So that means gearbox refurbishments, spare blades, bearings, any other spare parts they need have to come from China, India, or Europe. Now, with a surge in project completions expected through the rest of the calendar year in 2025, the market is poised to continue growing. The increase of up to 40 gigawatts of the government's capacity investment scheme will also drive investment and could help increase local content if the market continues on its current trajectory. The bigger any market gets, the more producers of spare parts are going to want to be active in the market to be able to sell what they have. But in the meantime, the resources, software, and personnel which could help significantly reduce O&M costs are available, and there's experience elsewhere in the world. So please reach out to us at IntelStor, and we can help connect you with solutions that will increase your profits. Thank you for joining me this week. I'm Philip Totaro, and this has been your weekly dose of truth to power. Follow us on IntelStor's YouTube channel, as well as your favorite audio platforms. And visit www.intelstore.com to join more than 200,000 subscribers to our renewable energy data solutions. A full analysis of the renewable energy market in Australia is available to subscribers. And make sure you register today for the next Wind Summit event in Houston, Texas this October. Visit www.windsummit.org and join hundreds of your industry colleagues from companies like NextEra, EDPR, EDF, Pattern Energy, Clearway, Apex Clean Energy, and more. We hope to see you there.